This is Ben Whitaker. You're watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so the IBF have released their new rankings up and down their weight divisions, of course, but in this video, as always, we're going to talk about the heavyweight division. Now, they have made a couple of changes, so I want to go through them as always. So if you are new to the channel, firstly, welcome. Please click that subscribe button. We get to learn and know about a lot of fighters who don't usually feature on people's videos due to the fact that they're not in the headline. So it's always good to know the landscape of the heavyweight division, so please make sure you are subscribed. Speaking of which, check out the previous video for the Ring Magazine. Their rankings are now out as well. Check out before then the WBC and the WBA, along with the British rankings that you and I do, along with the world rankings that you and I do as well within the last week or two. So go check out those. Make sure you're subscribed. Anyway, so here are the new top 15 for the IBF in the heavyweight division for the month of September. Oleksandr Usyk is the IBF World Heavyweight Champion. He's unified champion, of course, but in this one, we're talking about the IBF. He is the IBF World Heavyweight Champion. Number 1 and mandatory challenger is Perkovic. Number 2 is vacant. We'll talk about that in a second. Number 3, Anthony Joshua. Number 4, Deontay Wilder. Number 5, Frank Sanchez. Number 6, Joseph Parker. Number 7, Jared Anderson. Number 8, Ajit Kabayel. Number 9, Otto Wallin. Number 10, Dillian White. Number 11, Arsebek Magomedov. Number 12, Murat Gasev. Number 13, Martin Piccoli. Number 14, Ruiz Jr. And number 15, Luis Ortiz. So there you go. That is a new top 15 from the IBF. Dropped out this month is Dempsey McKean. Dempsey McKean, his last fight, of course, he got stopped in the final round against Perkovic, which, for me, Dempsey McKean done very well. The fact that was his first real step-up fight, and he gave a very good account of himself against a top-tier contender, right? And for him to get all the way to the final round, he done very, very well. And as always with the heavyweight division, one punch changes everything. It can do, and it did on that particular fight. So either way, Dempsey McKean has been dropped. Some people may say unfairly. Now, of course, before we talk about his rankings, I always get asked these questions. And in this one, there's going to be somebody somewhere ask me, why is Tyson Fury not in these rankings? Well, that's because he's the WBC World Heavyweight Champion. I know it's a grey area right now because obviously he's not defending that belt. He's going to go take on an exhibition fight against a non-boxer. Is what it is, but of course that's why he's not in these rankings anyway. Okay, so new insert will be number 11, Arsebek Magomedov. Now, very, very ferocious fighter. If you haven't seen him, he punches like a mule kicks with both hands. He's full on aggressive. He comes forward. He likes to click his neck a lot. I'm not too sure what that's about, but he is an absolute beast. He really is. He's a problem for anybody in the heavyweight division right now. And I would love to see him take on, say, a Jared Anderson, who's a top-ranked fighter, along with Magomedov. He's also a top-ranked fighter. Well, co-promoted by Top Rank and the Tiger is Magomedov. But I would like to see him take on Jared Anderson or a FA Jagbo, also on the top-ranked side of the street, or even the European heavyweight champion, Ajit Kabayel, number 8. So anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Arsebek Magomedov. Now, Ruiz Jr. is number 14 on this list. He's been dropped down by 6 positions. So he's taken a lofty drop, as he has with the WBC and what have you as well. So something's going on that I haven't quite put my finger on as to what's going on. Now, people may say, well, it might be down to the fact that he's inactive. Well, if you look at, say, Deontay Wilder, he isn't getting dropped in the other sanctioning bodies, nor on this one either. So them two fought only 1 month apart. So I'm not too sure what's going on. I'm really not too sure. In time, I'm sure we'll find out. Okay, so let's talk about fights that looks like could well be happening. Okay, so the IBF World Heavyweight Champion and Unified Champion, of course, along with the Ring Magazine, the IBO, the WBO, and the WBA in Oleksandr Usyk, looks like he's going to be taking on Perkovic, who's in number 1 and the mandatory challenger. Now, Perkovic has already said that he's not going to step aside. He wants that shot against Oleksandr Usyk. If Usyk wants to go fight Fury for a unification, you can do that for unification, but it will not be for undisputed. I'm not going to step aside. I'm not going to allow you to fight, so vacate the belt. He says he's not going to take any kind of money, but hey, everybody's got a price. So maybe somebody somewhere, i.e. the Saudis, can offer him enough money to step aside. But so we'll really have to wait and see. Now, of course, number 2 is vacant. So that's going to be a question for a lot of people. Now, the vacant position is there as a secondary mandatory, which is kind of weird because the IBF don't usually do secondary mandatories. Now, usually the number 1 position is empty until a mandatory challenger is then fulfilled. For the Perkovic, of course, is there. But now they've vacated number 2. There's no reason to do that considering that they are up next in the rotation, as we've just spoken about Oleksandr Usyk and Filip Perkovic. So there's no real need for that to be vacant right now. But hey, you know what? They do what they do. Okay, so other fights that are happening will be number 9, Otto Wallin versus number 12, Murat Gasev. That is happening in a week and a half's time. And that'll be happening in Turkey. I don't know why Turkey. I have absolutely no idea. So this is Sweden versus Russia. This is a fight there where both of them have only got 1 loss each. Otto Wallin has lost to Tyson Fury. And of course, Murat Gasev lost to Oleksandr Usyk. So both only 1 loss each. For me, it's a 50-50 fight. It is. Murat Gasev, we know he's a big puncher. He's very aggressive. Otto Wallin is a very technically sound fighter. And of course, he's southpaw as well. I met Otto Wallin. He's a big old guy. I met him when he fought Kamil Sokolowski in Cardiff, and I filmed a little bit backstage stuff with him. But good fight, though. Very, very good fight. I'm looking forward to that one, that's for sure. I really can't pick him. If I had to pick, I'd probably say maybe Otto Wallin on points. Possibly. Who knows? Looks like that Joseph Parker, who is number 6 on this one, will be taking on Simon Keane. Simon Keane is a Canadian fighter, and looks like that fight could well be happening. It's not official right now, but looks like Joseph Parker versus Simon Keane could be happening on the Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou undercard. It's not confirmed yet, it's just rumour. Okay, so I have to wait and see if that happens. Okay, so one guy that I talk about quite a bit is number 13, Martin Piccoli. And one of the reasons why I talk about him quite a bit is because I want to see him step up. I want to see it. There's a lot of talk from his manager, trainer, Billy Knows Hell Nelson, that says that he's the real deal. Well, so far he's either beaten really old men or he's beaten prospects. So that's what I talk about. I want to see him in there with some of these fighters. Apparently he wasn't ready or whatever for Murat Gasev. That's why Gasev is going to be taking on Otto Wallin next. But he turned down a Arsbek Magomedov. Again, I don't know all this for a fact. This is just certain things that I hear. So I don't really know what it is that Martin Piccoli wants to do. But it does look like he's going to be taking on Carlos Takam next. Now, of course, what they have in common here is that they're both beating Tony Yoka. Okay? But while it's a okay fight, it's okay. It's not a headline fight. It's not even a chief support fight. It's kind of like mid-card kind of fight, which is, I would rather see Martin Piccoli fight the guy who last beat Carlos Takam in Arsbek Magomedov. Because Carlos Takam, okay, he wasn't supposed to beat Tony Yoka, he wasn't. But Carlos Takam, he got knocked out by Derek Chisora. He's been beaten by quite a few fighters out there. Joseph Parker's beaten him. Alexander Povetkin's beaten him. Numerous fighters have beaten Carlos Takam, Anthony Joshua, of course. So it's not really a fight that excites me, but it is a step up considering what Martin Piccoli did last time against that Ukrainian fella, the Hulk. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Number 3, Anthony Joshua versus number 4, Deontay Wilder. Is that fight still going to happen? Will it happen next for either fighter? Will one of them take an interim fight in the meantime? Are they solely relying on the Saudi money? And if that fight, or if the Saudi money is no longer there due to the fact that new people are now running the boxing side of Saudi Arabia, will they then move it to here in the UK at Wembley Stadium or the Millennium Stadium, depending on when it is that they want to do it? Will they move it to Las Vegas? That's been touted. Could they put it to both of their motherland in Nigeria? I'm sure that's a place that both of them would absolutely love to do. But hopefully this fight isn't just about the money, where they're only going to fight if there's a certain amount of money on the line. Hopefully they fight because they owe it to the fans. They do owe this fight to the fans. We know Wilder has consistently dubbed Anthony Joshua previously on this one on many occasions, and even admitted it, that he took less money to fight Tyson Fury than what he would have got to take on Anthony Joshua, and so forth and so on. Is what it is. That's all in the past. Let's move forward. Get the fight on. Okay, I want to see this fight. Jared Anderson. Now, Jared Anderson, for me, he's a little high. I think number 7 is quite high for a Jared Anderson. But at the same time, he has shown willing. He has been active, and he is actually fighting, which is something that the rest of them are not really doing. But he has called out Frank Sanchez. Now, Frank Sanchez is number 5 on this list, so I'm all for that. If you're ranked in these particular rankings or any other sanctioning body, fight those in or around you. Prove your position. And if Jared Anderson is serious about Frank Sanchez, hopefully Frank Sanchez will agree to the fight. We know Frank Sanchez, he has stepped up once before when he took on F.A. Jagba, okay? And he's done very well in that fight. But since then, he's been stepping backwards. He's been taking on gatekeepers and journeymen. So I'm not too sure what is happening with Frank Sanchez. But other than that, I think that's pretty much everybody covered who is actually fighting and whatever else. 15, Luis Ortiz, what's he doing? I don't know. I mean, he's getting a move on. I mean, he's not getting any younger, is he? But yeah, other than that, I think we've pretty much covered everybody. So what's your thoughts on this one? Do you like these rankings? Do you agree with them? Who do you think should be in there? Who do you think shouldn't be in there? For me, they're not great, but we have seen worse. Most notably, the WBA. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.